Hi, good morning. Ooh. Penny says good morning. Can you say good morning to them?
Good morning. Get the camera off of me, Mom. It's too early for all this.
Anyway, and Gracie's over there talking. Don't you try to get up here too, baby. We can't have two of you up here. Anyway, I just came out to sit down and tell a story, and I'm being mauled. Are you mauling me? Are you mauling me? Oh, she's so mean. Angry girl. Yes, I'm an angry girl. So I'm not angry, I'm just misunderstood. Yeah. So I'm just trying to protect my mom, and nobody seems to appreciate that. Yeah.
Anyway, you're sliding off my lap. Can you just... Okay, well, that's fine. I guess I'll just sit and hold you like this. But she won't just sit down. Ugh. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna put my feet up here. Okay, maybe if I put my feet up.
Anyway, hi, good morning. Happy Wednesday. It's a joy to be here with you this morning. Coffee clinks, even though I've already drank my coffee. So, I thought of a couple of stories yesterday. My friend Megan called me and she told me that they had a fire alarm yesterday at the courthouse. It has not, oh, hold on. Okay, well, Joan called and she wants me to come over and look at a picture painting, something that she's getting rid of. We gotta go look, right? So I'll be back to storytelling in a few. I mean, at this point, I feel like I should probably start over because I don't feel like we have even started the subject that I wanted to tell y'all. But Joan gave me a very beautiful painting. She said it does not match what she is trying to accomplish. I was like, shoot, yeah, man, I'll take it. It's from Kirkland's. And I said, I've been bringing in blues and oranges into my living room, so I will make good use of it. Now, the gold frame, I might have to dull a little or something, because I don't have a lot of gold going on. But anyway, back to the story. I'm just going to start over. All right, so Megan called me and said that they had a fire alarm at the courthouse yesterday. That reminded me of a story from many, many moons ago, probably almost 40 years ago. But I remember when we worked uptown. Now, when I say we worked uptown, the jail at that time was on the town square, and the basement area was the intake area where they brought the people in when they were arrested. And then there was an elevator that went up to the fourth floor that where the inmates, that's where the cells were, where the inmates lived. So there was a fire alarm and we all had to evacuate. The fire department comes, which is 2 blocks down the road, and they go in and they're searching for where the smoke is coming from, because at this point all they have seen is smoke. Now they find a mop bucket that is producing a great amount of smoke. And they bring the mop bucket out to the sally port where we're all standing around waiting to see what the excitement was all about. Well, apparently a trustee had taken his cigarette and thrown it in the mop bucket. Yeah. And it didn't have water. It just had a really wet, probably souring mop, because every time they mopped, it smelled sour, as my granny would say. It was sour. Well, anyway, they brought it out and they carry it to the side of their great big fire truck and they turn on their great big hose. And I guess what was left in the line, they turned it on like that. And basically it just kind of filled that mop bucket with water. And I remember one of the female deputies standing out there with us and, smoking. And she said, well, hell, I could have pissed on that and put it out. I don't know why. That just stuck in my head. I just thought it was so funny. And Megan reminded me of it. And that Sallyport had held a lot of memories because even though we could smoke inside the building in 1984, 1985, why are you glaring at me? We would often go outside to the Sallyport to smoke because that's where the deputies hung out, and we wanted to view upon them. So we would go outside and stand around with the deputies, with the cool people, and smoke. I smoked for too many years, but I quit 30 years ago at least, I think. I don't know, it was a long time ago. All right, so anyway, I remember one time standing there and they brought this inmate down to take to a doctor's appointment or court or whatever the case was. I don't know. And I just remember him being very unkept, very kind of, his hair was long, his long mustache and beard. But anyway, he's in waist chains, which is just a chain that goes around their waist, and it has the little handcuffs on the side, and that's a much more comfortable ride, to go to their doctor's appointment or whatever, than handcuffing them behind their back. Plus, it's, kind of hard to get out of them. Well, he also had leg irons on, which is a chain that leads to ankle cuffs. They're bigger, that go around your ankles, that allegedly keeps them from running because I've seen people run with them. It's quite funny to see people run with leg irons because you can't really get up any speed running. It's like that game we used to play as kids where we put the band around our ankles and tried to run, the three-legged race or whatever. That's basically what they look like trying to run with leg irons on. But anyway, he started shouting when he got down in the Sallyport area that he was Jesus Christ and he had returned to save his church and that they needed to let him go. And I was like, I was a kid. I was like 19. And I'm looking around like, well, he did say he was coming back. And I was truly freaked out. What if he's Jesus? Even though he looked more like John the Baptist. He wasn't Jesus. All of a sudden, he started shouting all the obscenities that you've ever heard in your life. And I was like, oh, that's not Jesus. But yeah, for a minute there, I was like, could it be? No, it could not be. Hold on, let me see what time it is. I got to call my brother at 11:30. And it's 11:24, so, because it's Wednesday at 11:30. Anyway, I'm going to try to call him before he calls me. I'm going to try to beat him one time in my life. Anyway, when I worked uptown, I was working in the records section. Well, then we moved out to the big jail, and they started opening positions for civilians to work in the jail. And I had to go through a lot of the same classes that deputies had to go through. They called it jail officer training, detention officer training. I think it was jail officer training. I don't know. I had to go through all that stuff. And I had to go through handcuffing techniques and stuff like that. And learning how to put on the waist chains and the leg irons and all that. What to do when somebody has real slim wrist and all that. Well, the instructor was using me as his subject to handcuff, and I, being the smart aleck witty girl that I am, I decided to try to be cute, and he put those handcuffs on me, and I pulled them off, and I handed them back to him, smiling ever so cutely. I got out of your handcuffs. Well, that was not the right thing to do because this man decided that he was going to then show the class how to deal with little smart alecks like me. And he took a handcuff and put it on my left arm, and you leave room for a finger to go in so that they're not too tight. That's what you're supposed to do, and you lock it because if you don't lock it, they'll continue to tighten down. Well, then he took the arm, the little swing arm on the handcuff, and he hooked it through that cuff and then hooked me. So there was no room for me to remove those. I was like, well, this didn't go as planned. But I also learned how to take people down, which I did that to a boy at my church a couple of times because he kept taking my water bottle. I was his teacher, and I took his arm and flipped it up behind his back, and at the same time took my foot and put it in front of his leg, and I just took him to the ground. It didn't hurt him, but I said, give me my water bottle and stop acting like this. He was a teenager. And then he tried it again in the Family Life Center, and I took him down again. Sorry, my alarm went off to call my brother and shut the video off. But anyway, I took him down in front of God and everybody. The bad part is my brother had a safety guy riding with him and probably shouldn't have answered his phone. But he probably thought something was wrong since I was calling him. I was like, no, it's just Wednesday at 11:30, but don't call Jenny because she's at the doctor. And anyway, his truck driver, he's not supposed to be on his phone, but I think he can if it's, I don't know. Well, it's Wednesday at 11:30, brother. I was just trying to beat you to it, so sorry. Anyway, I learned a lot in that class, but the funny thing is, I did not have to do this one thing that they had to do because I had recently broken my tailbone at the jail when one of the deputies threw me across the room. That may be slightly exaggerated, but you know those wheels that come out from under the office chairs? I landed on that square center of my plumber's crack, and it split my tailbone, y'all. So I didn't have to do this one thing, but Sid, my classmate, did not learn from me to not be a smart aleck with this training instructor. So when the training instructor laid on the ground, knees up, feet on the ground, and said, straddle me and pretend like you're going to choke me, Sid actually kind of, squeezed and shook a little bit. Not hard, but you know what I'm saying. Well, the point of this class was to teach us how to get away from someone who may be on top of you, choking you out. So he's on the ground, and Sid's like this, right? And he does like that. Well, then he came up between his arms and did like that, right? To push his arms off of his neck. Well, then he took that knee and anyway, he flipped Sid over. It was supposed to just be a demonstration of how to do it. I don't think he was really supposed to flip Sid, but Sid got flipped. That might be the name of this video. Sid got flipped. He sure did. We learned real quick, like, not to be a smart aleck with this training instructor because he didn't take it so well. Anyway, I never had to do that with any of the inmates. I never had to fight with an inmate or nothing. Now, I did have to go on strip searches, which was enough. Yeah, that was enough for me. I didn't have to do anything else because going on a strip search, and one of them was on a girl that I went to high school with. It's so embarrassing. I mean, I had to because there two had to go on the strip search. You couldn't go in there with an inmate by yourself and tell them to take all their clothes off. You had to have a witness. Can I get a witness? Well, anyway, I was the witness, and you had to take all your clothes off, and if you got big uns, you had to lift them to make sure nothing was under there, and then you had to, if she had the big tummy, they had to lift that to see if there's anything under there, because we had an inmate come in, and she had stolen a boom box, which is well, y'all can't see, but it's like that big from over to the Walmarts, and she hid it under her belly through the strip search and the pat-downs and the showering and all that stuff. She hid it, and she went down to the pod and pulled it out and was like, look what I got. Look what I stole that I brought into the jail with me. She was that big. If I'm not mistaken, her name was Linda, if I'm not mistaken, and I believe she is the one that she came to jail like almost every week for shoplifting. She would just go to different stores and shoplift stuff. Well, if I'm not mistaken, she's the one that the judge issued an order that she was not allowed to step foot back in Cobb County. Yeah. And that if she was caught in Cobb County, that she would be arrested for violating his order. He was so tired of seeing her coming into his courtroom every other week. Now, she never stole enough to amount to anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were all little misdemeanors. But yeah, he banned her from Cobb County. I don't know. I mean, I guess you can do that, but he did. He sure did. I mean, but that was back in the day. We used to get away with a lot more. Anyway, that's some of my jail stories. But yeah, the strip search. Back to the strip search. So you have to lift and you have to lift, and then if that's not bad enough, you have to cough. Well, you have to bend down. Don't make me show you. You have to squat. How about that? You have to squat, and then you have to cough. Squat and cough. Squat and cough, boys and girls. Squat and cough. Because allegedly, if anything is hidden where it shouldn't be hidden, if you squat and cough, it should fall out. I didn't like going on those strip searches. And we almost got into an altercation one night with one because she did not want to participate. And this deputy kind of had to put her in her place. And I was like, am I going to have to get involved in this? But that deputy had it. So I was like, tell me what you need me to do. I'm here. Tell me what you need me to do. But let's not break a nail, okay? I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. I didn't have nails when I worked at the jail. Well, maybe that one time I did. Anyway, well, that's all the jail stories I have. But I do have a story about Naomi and Phoenix, my little neighbor girls across the street. So I went out to walk Pinnifer last night. Phoenix is the 6-year-old, and she comes flying out of the house, running down the stairs across the driveway to the trash can and screaming, "Hey, Miss Tracy," as she's running. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? And then she turns around and she runs back in the house yelling, "Naomi, Naomi, Naomi." And Naomi comes flying out of the house and she runs down the steps and across the driveway to the trash can. And I'm like, okay, well, I am fully invested in this story now, so what's going on? What's going on? What we got? Do I need to come over there? I mean, I can't because I got Pinnifer with me and she will try to eat your face off, but what's going on? So finally, one of them, looks up from the trash can and I'm like, what is it? What's a lizard? Okay, I mean, I guess a lizard could get real exciting for a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old. I don't know. I never really got that excited over them, but, I don't know. I said, well, how big is it? Put you back in the phone holder. Phoenix, she likes to tell stories. She's like, well, it's like this big. And I'm like, that's not a lizard. Then that's an iguana, a Komodo dragon. Oh, I don't know. It's not a lizard. We don't have lizards like that in Georgia. So I don't think we're going to come over there, though, because, nope. And then Naomi, who's the logical one, she goes, it's like this big. And I said, oh, okay. All right. Well, I can handle that. So it's like a little baby. She said, well, it's not that little. I mean, it is pretty big. Okay, whatever. So anyway, then all of a sudden, then Phoenix tells me it's beautiful. It's black and gray and blue. I'm like, okay. So then Phoenix gets, I guess, tired of the iguana, Komodo dragon, lizard story, and she comes flying towards me as fast as she can run, crosses the street, comes into the yard, and she gets almost to me. She's going to give me a hug. And right when she gets within like 2 feet, she stops. And she looks at Penny and she goes, never mind. And she turns around and runs back across the street to her house. And I was like, sorry. I'm sorry that my dog is the angry one and wants to rip your face off. I mean, she's cute, right? You got to give her that. She's cute. But, yeah, don't run up on her like that, because that's not going to go well. So, I mean, she didn't bark at her, which is an improvement. But I don't know if Phoenix is ever going to get to pet Penny, because Penny, the best thing that you can do to make friends with Penny is ignore her for a long, 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 long time. And then once you ignore her for a very long time, then she'll be like, oh, she's not scared of me. She's not running from me. Okay. And then you can put your hand down, but she's still probably going to snap at you. But then maybe the next time you can put your hand down and she won't snap at you. But then if you pet too long, she will snap at you. But then maybe by the next time, she's never bitten anyone. She just snaps, you know. She's just a warning. It's just a warning shot. Yeah. But then maybe by the next time, she'll just flip over on her back and show you her belly, and you're golden then. All is good to go. But until then, no, she's not the one. She's not the one, man. Anyway, y'all have a good rest of your day. It's early and I've got my video done, so I may have just eaten a cookie that may be stuck in my throat. Anyway, I love you. Jesus loves you. I hope he's coming back soon, because people be crazy. And I will talk to you on the next Tracy Tries, okay? I'm hanging up first. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Oh, it's down here. I just wanted to show you that I was coming towards the phone. Okay, bye.